Yo, welcome to episode 37 of the Put On Podcast. Yo,
yeah.
Straight off the bat, I'm Canadian, you guys are obviously American. Would you want Canada to be the 51st state as Americans?
I got no beef with y'all.
I mean, definitely. Yes. Like, that would be awesome, don't you think? I feel like it could only be good things, right? And it would allow you to get into America without all the fucking issues, right?
If they made the dollar 1-to-1, like Trump alluded to that a little bit, and we won't get political with it, but that would be, fucking rights. That'd be crazy if they made the dollar 1-to-1. Okay, but you guys are open to it.
But you guys are also like,
it's not really that much difference.
Yeah,
like,
you guys are like American already in a way. Like Canada is different than America the same way that Texas is different than New York, or like people from Washington are different than people from Mississippi.
Hold up. You're saying, but Texas is nothing like New York.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's like they also speak English, but they're different than New Yorkers. Canadians are different than New Yorkers also. I'm saying, like, we all speak English. We're all kind of the same, but we're all a little bit different. The way I see the states in America, it's like for people in Europe, what they don't realize is every state is essentially its own country. They're like it has its own kind of people culture. That are in California and that are in New York and that are in Texas, it's all a different vibe, right? Mm-hmm. So like, it wouldn't be that different if Canada was just part of America. You'd just be the biggest state. You're saying that, like, across every state, no two states are alike in terms of their cultures and how they like. It's what I'm. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Mike, would you disagree?
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I highly disagree. Because,
all right, tell me why.
All right, so let's take Texas, right? Just how Texas slang is totally different than how people in New York talk. The fashion out there is different. How they drive, the type of cars is different. What do you mean no?
You're making that was my point. You're agreeing. That's not
how it comes out though.
The way you said what you said, it was like you were saying that Texas was the same as New York at the beginning. Yeah. And Mike and I were like, no, there's no way Texas is the same as New York. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that all these states are part of the country, but there's a different thing going on in each state. Every state has a different vibe. Yeah. All the people are different state to state, right? So if Canada became a part of America, it would be kind of the same thing. It's like, okay. It's like you're basically just another state, the biggest state, but it's a whole different vibe in Canada. But
it just wasn't clear how you said it.
Right. It's not clear. But essentially, like, Americans and Canadians, we're very similar in a lot of different ways. There's a dialect that's slightly different, but like there's a different dialect in different states. Yeah.
I've never heard the Canadian dialect. I've never heard it.
He did it last 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, because like we asked him to do it, but like anytime I've met a Canadian person, they were just like, yo, I was like, so like I didn't hear anything different. Nothing sounded different. I was just like, all right.
I mean, Canada. Yeah, but you've got English Canada, which would be similar dialect to what you guys have, and then you have French Canada, which is very different, and those guys are dickheads. More or less. No.
Well, what about like the Drake, like the Toronto?
Yeah, the Toronto slang is crazy. Like the roadmen in Toronto with the Crody and we could play some Toronto slang. That I mean, that's not Canadian slang though. That's like just Toronto.
Well, give me that. I need that impersonation if you could, Cal.
Bro, that shit it's like the Mandem, Crody, fucking. Bro, I'm not like.
Come on, Sam.
It's like they're Jamaican and like English at the same time, and I'm just like,
it's like Jamaican, English, Canadian because they're a bit like fam, fucking yeah. I mean, but I'm not interacting with any of those guys. I don't know if you guys are.
Well, either way, I think it would be awesome. I mean, I just think it would be great. And, I think everybody has this natural tendency to be like, whoa, you can't do that. And it's like, well, you can do that. Like, just why not? Let's just do it.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the economies, like, yeah, if the U.S. wanted to come into Canada today, you guys could. It would be stupid, but you could. I mean,
Right.
so yeah. But I will say, yeah, to your point around like the different states and stuff, I would say that culturally, the U.S. is much more patriotic from if you like generalize versus like in terms of the singing the national anthem and all these different things in Canada. Also, we've let so many people in the country that what it means to be Canadian is no longer the same. So yeah, culturally, I don't think Canada has a culture like so.
It's patriotic in pockets, like it's not everywhere is it patriotic.
You mean here or Canada?
In America,
In
like,
the
there's certain places that are very like if you're in the middle of the country, it's patriotic, in the heartland. I'll say though that if we combine forces, I feel like we would definitely get a lot of goodwill from the rest of the world because Canadians have a great reputation. Like we'd be a lot friendly. We get a lot friendlier. We'd have a lot more friendlier people.
That's the only other thing I will say too is like through my travels overseas and living overseas, like anytime you're in Europe or Australia, wherever it is, someone initially might be like, "Oh, you're American." To me, for example, I'd be like, "No, Canadian." Or they're like, "Oh my God, come in!" Like Whereas if I'm like, "Yeah, I'm American," they're like, "Ah." So the stigma that Canadians get versus Americans in different cultures overseas is very different, even though, yeah, we're very similar. So, traveling, I'd rather be Canadian than American, but
I agree.
Yeah. But okay, THREE-PEAT is the segment. Shout out Pat Riley. Yo, did you see though? You guys saw that he licensed that to the Chiefs?
How much you think just if you had to guess, he licenses it to the Chiefs or whoever, right? If they win, what is that? What are we talking about? Like dollars?
Money-wise?
Yeah.
I don't think you could. I don't even know how you put a number on that.
Right.
I think what it would be is 20% or like 25% of all sales. Like the number would be whatever merch they sell with the THREE-PEAT, he would get X percentage of the dollars brought in. That's how I.
So like off of them winning the Super Bowl, are we talking about he's going to be making millions of dollars off of that?
Well, yeah, easily, because if they do any merchandise that says THREE-PEAT, if they do any commercials that say THREE-PEAT, if they do it's mainly merch and commercials where they'll make all the money in.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll make a few mil. I would bet
easily.
It's brilliant. Like the foresight, like how I just don't even get it. I don't understand how people do things like that. Especially ones that are like masters of their craft in one other completely different way. Like this guy isn't a marketer. He's a mastermind basketball coach, right? But just like, again, to have the wherewithal to just be like, all right, I've never heard this word before. I'm just going to fucking trademark this shit. And then the next thing you know, he's making millions off of it.
He trademarked THREE-PEAT?
Yeah. Is that crazy?
Well,
yeah. Because it's such a used terminology in sports, and to think like no one's ever done it.
Yeah.
And you got the Lakers and the Celtics and like the Bulls.
No
and
one's ever done it in the NBA?
No, they have done it.
I thought they did.
The Celtics had. No, have they actually won 3 championships? I think is the question that Cal's asking.
Yes. Yeah.
Lakers did it. Celtics done it.
But he
Bulls
did this.
He
trademarked that back in maybe in the 80s. Like it must have been like a long, long time ago. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's the name of the segment. Let's start it up.
Okay, so each of us have 3 questions, and everyone's got to answer each question. I'll go first.
Wait, Cal, also just let everybody know, nobody knows what each other's questions are, right? So whereas like Mike is so good at answering on the fly, I'm really bad at it. You're probably somewhere in between. So let's just, caveat it with, okay.
So, my first question is, what's the biggest scam of adulthood that we just accept as normal?
Oh, that's easy. That's right out the gate easy. Them people that be selling makeup and shit, Mary Kay. Them cars, like them pink cars that people be driving to and going, still like people still try to sell that shit. Them multi-level marketing I'm like, yo, how y'all out here telling me that if I buy, I've heard it all. I've heard makeup, I've heard fitness stuff, I've heard groceries. Like, what do you mean I'm gonna make money if I buy groceries for myself? And then you want me to bring in 10 people to buy groceries with me, and we all gonna have a supermarket together, and we all gonna build on top. Like, no, get up out of here, son.
Well, that is like an actual scam, right? Like,
yeah, he went literal with that shit, bro.
Wait. Right, so this is the same. This is a good question. Have you guys ever heard of what a susu is?
No.
All right. So in Caribbean and like Black culture, there's a thing called a susu, and I did it once. So what it is you get a bunch of people together, and everybody each week puts in a certain amount of money. So let's just say $150, right? So let's say it's 10 of us, right? And we all put in $100 a week, right? So it's like $1,000, right? Every person, then one person moves from the bottom to the top, and then that person gets the $1,000.
And then you have to bring more people in, right? The people who came in have to bring more.
Right.
Yeah, I've done some shit like that. Yeah.
And then I was a part of one in like 2021, right? And my boy brought me in. He was like, yo, man, like I got paid out this much, that I'm about to buy a motorcycle. I'm like, what you mean you about to buy a motorcycle? He was like, yo, because if I put in 10 racks and then I get my girl to put in 10 racks. I said, why do y'all, first off, how you got 10 racks? I know you. And then before you knew it, this one person had a bunch of people putting in like $5,000, $6,000, $10,000. So now they got like freaking $100,000 sitting in this bank. And then before you knew it, boop, out of here. Gone.
It's a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme.
I mean, I got paid out once. Went crazy with that 1,000.
I feel like I have so many answers to this. Like it's just like taxes.
We don't have that much time.
Yeah, true. 401ks. You know what I think the biggest? Yeah, I mean those are huge scams. I one that comes to mind that I think is the biggest scam going is the unlimited sick days at work. Like the we offer unlimited sick days. It's just such bullshit. It's like you could take off like it's unlimited vacation days, right? Yeah. And so if they don't actually give you like real vacation, it's like, yeah, but you can take off whenever you want. And then you take off and they're like, you're going to take off now though. Yeah. It's like, you feel bad. And it's like, it's just such a fucking, that's a scam. School is a scam. Taxes, like I said, scam. So many scams out there. What do you think?
Mine was a specific thing, but it's on the money tip is, bro, capital gains tax. You're telling me I make a correct decision and make money on something that I took a risk and made a decision on, and whatever country I'm in or whoever it is, bro, they're taking half of it or 25. What the fuck? Because I made the right decision? How does that even make sense? Like, sure, you can talk like taxes, income, all the different things, but like that tax specifically, the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Taxes is the smartest thing for any person in power, because all you're doing is just feeding off of people through like force. You know what I mean? You have to do it. Okay. Right. And I don't even understand how you even do taxes. That's another That's another scam to me. How do you do taxes?
And the people that have the most amount of money, they pay their tax lawyers to just like somehow get money back. Like,
but that's what I'm saying. Like if they taught you in school how to do taxes, we all would be getting money back, and all of us would. But they don't want everyone to be winning, so you don't know how to do taxes. That's what it is.
Right. True. I
know. I went to tax school.
I know that Mike was supposed to go next, but I have a good segue for what you just said. So let me ask my question next, okay?
Right. But wait, doesn't he answer? Oh, he did answer. Never mind.
Yeah. So what's a skill that they don't teach in grade school that you think is underratedly one of the most valuable skills a person can have?
Hold
Tongue
on.
kissing.
What'd you say, Mike? You
Tongue
said
kissing.
kissing?
Tongue kiss, he said. That can't be your real answer. Who's going first?
Kyle, you go.
Yo, you just when you say grade school, you're talking like grade 1 to 6. What are you talking like?
1 to 12.
Well, oh, 1 to
Kindergarten
12.
to 12.
Okay. What do I think that? And can you repeat the question one more time?
What's a skill that they don't teach that you think is one of the most underrated and valuable skills a person can have?
I mean, the easy answer is the whole money route in terms of like how to manage your finance. Like, they don't teach that for a reason. So anything financial. But yeah, I mean, to me, one of the underrated things that they don't teach would have to be like the transition from grade school to whether it is university or whether it is just like out real world job, whatever, like that period of getting out of like being in school to now being in adulthood, whatever it is, like, bro, for sure, okay, yo, you're gonna have bills every month. You're gonna like actually, and obviously, your parents might do a little bit of that, but like the transition period, I think they need to teach you more, like, again, how to be savvy with your money, bro. Cooking, you're telling me they don't teach you how to cook in school? Like, bro, like, you got to cook to, shit like that. But
your answer is basically just like all life skills.
Life skills. But cooking, cooking's gonna be top of my ass.
Because I was looking for one. All
cooking.
Right. What about you, Michael?
I would say is that people really don't know how to like speak in public or in front of people. And I think from grade 1 through 12, you're figuring out who you are, you're understanding like who you are as a person, and then you take that 18-year-old and you put him in front of a bunch of people and like ask him to talk, and it's like and it turns into just like this like word salad of just like a bunch of stuff that makes no sense. And I feel like public speaking is the one thing that people are most fearful of, and I see it a lot. Just with like this men's group that I'm in, we always have guys that come in and everybody introduces themselves, and dudes get up there and they fumble. They're like, what do you do? I praise the Lord. Yeah. What's your name? Huh? And it's like they just fall out. I think public speaking for sure.
That's a good one. I took public speaking in college, and it was one of those courses where like, you're right. You get up there and you realize like, oh shit, like my heart's like beating out of my chest. Like I'm like seeing like just blurriness all in front of me. And then, and it actually helped me a lot. No, I mean, and you don't realize how important it is in front of big groups. And once you get out into the work world, mine's a little bit like of a niche answer, but I don't know why I was thinking about it, but I think one of those skills that they don't teach for an obvious reason that is super valuable is how to flirt. Okay. And what I mean by that is like, it's such a powerful social skill to have that a person can have. It's such a form of like playful connection. And then it's also like influence and persuasion, like persuasion. Not just with the opposite sex. It's like, when you're having interactions with anybody of just finding that taking an interest in a person and finding that connection, I just feel like it's such an important skill to have. And it's something that a lot of smart people, like book smart people, that's where they lack, is like in the ability to have that social, interaction. And just like, if you know how to flirt, then you can get a lot in your life. You could get, you're able to kind of like, get the jobs you want, get the relationships you want, get whatever out of the circumstance that you want. I just think it's an underrated skill to have.
When you say flirt though, and then you said, it doesn't have to be opposite sex, like you mean more so just, how to persuasively talk to people though, is what you're saying?
I see it more as like flirting, even though it's like, I wouldn't say I'm like flirting with a guy, but like when I'm talking to a guy, I'm trying to like not have such a, concrete conversation. I'm trying to like find some common ground. It's really like, and I'll talk about this later because they talk about it in a podcast, but that I'm into, but like basically just, being able to have that social thing where that's playful. That's not just like about finding the connection. It's like having that playful part of it.
Yeah, we gotta tighten that up. Got to tighten that up.
All right.
I don't even know what the question is.
Next question.
Oh, it's on me. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch it up. All right. Which celebrity would be the worst to be on a road trip with?
On a road trip, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Which celebrity would be worst to
Cal
be on a road
goes
trip?
first. Cal
D, bro. Nah, you need to get better at thinking on the spot. You're up, bro.
Flirt.
Yeah. What celebrity would it be the worst to be on a road trip with?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of whose voice would piss me off the most. Like who would talk and their voice is annoying is where I'm going.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of celebrities I can't stand. And I'm drawing a fucking blank. Well, when you said that, Cal, my first thought was Fran Drescher. Like she's got one of those voices that, she's got a really annoying voice. Okay, fine, I got one. Who's always bothered me is Cathy Griffin. Is that what her name is? With the red curly hair? So annoying. And just like
throwback.
Yeah, just shut up. Like I can't stand you. Like and she's trying to be funny. I don't like people that try so hard to be funny. She's not really that big of a celebrity, but that's my answer. Cathy Griffin.
I'll go a different way just because I don't think we could connect on anything. I just feel like it'd be super awkward in the car. Kanye, bro. I could not be on a road trip with fucking, like, bro. I want to get out of the car within 30 minutes, man. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to talk to Kanye about? We're out. No, Kanye West is my answer.
That's a great call. That's a good one. That's a really good. By the way, did you see the picture of his girl on the red carpet?
Yes, of course.
I mean, Jesus.
It's crazy.
Mike, what's yours?
So I have two. One would be Jason Bateman. Like, okay. I just feel like it'll be way too serious and dry up in there. Like, you're gonna go faster? You're not gonna go fast? Like, shut up. Like, I just feel like Jason Bateman, and the next.
Wait, but he's funny. Jason Bateman's funny. Like, you just don't like his sense of humor style?
No, I love Jason Bateman's sense of humor, but I just think when he's not in those roles, motherfucker's boring as shit and is gonna be just annoying as fuck. Like, that's what I think. And then Migos, the two of them, couldn't do it.
Why?
I need y'all to use full words. I don't need no extra. I don't need no half words. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We all be on that. No, left or right, north or south. Nah, bro, we out here on the opposite. No.
I love Migos, so I'd love to be on a road trip with those guys.
Yeah, y'all go ahead and mumble rap all day. Y'all go crazy.
That was a good one.
Decent question.
Okay, my second question is, if you had to completely switch careers and paths tomorrow, but still take care of your families, what would you do? It can't be anything you're doing right now. Like, I know you guys have different things going on. Like, completely switch up tomorrow. What would it be?
I would probably be a teacher, like a school teacher.
Okay.
I think that a lot of like what I do, yes, it is like teaching in a way, but I've never been like an actual like school teacher. And I think that would probably be like the best place for me to go.
What grade?
Oh, I gotta be able to talk real, man. You gotta give me like that eighth, like I would say like anywhere between 7th and like 10th grade. Because anything older than that, I'll punch you in the face.
Yeah, but that age is tough, man. Like the middle school age, like that is like they're acting out at that age.
Mm-hmm. That's good though.
I have two that come to mind. One is I've always thought about maybe being like a psychiatrist, or like somebody that's able to like talk to somebody and talk through their problems and something like, what's that?
And flirt.
No, just like in a therapeutic way, just talk through people's problems with each other. I think that's one. And then the second one is, I don't enjoy doing this, but I think I'm good at it, is working with like kids in like a youth sports capacity. Cause I coach all my kids' teams, and I just think like I'm good at it. And like, I've been told I'm good at it, and
you already do it. It's wrong. You can't use it.
But I don't get paid for it. It's not really a job if you're not getting paid for it.
So you're going to get paid to coach youth sports is your...
Yeah, or run some sort of program, or something where it's like I'm getting paid for it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What about you?
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, and the easiest thing, I think, bro, I just fucking going to be a realtor. Just be selling houses left, right, and center, friggin'. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I would do if I had to completely switch up. I feel like it's easy in, and I'll sell you anything. So yeah, realtor.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, dude.
All
right. Next question. This is a little bit of a fun one. If you had to give a TED Talk, Mike, you know what a TED Talk is?
Yes, I know what a TED Talk is.
If you had to give a TED Talk on any topic with zero preparation, random TED Talk, what would you choose?
How to flirt.
Give it a second of thought.
Zero preparation. What would be my topic?
This is like random. Could be funny.
Honestly, like, this is gonna sound crazy coming from me, especially with all of my drama, but I would talk about how guys today could actually get more women.
How to get more women.
Mm-hmm.
How to be a player.
Bill Bellamy. Nah, and I'm real. Like I talk to so many girls that are like anywhere from like 25 up to like 45, 50, right? Everybody's single.
Yeah.
Everybody's single.
Yeah.
And this is what I've always heard, is that everything is a text. Nobody talks. Dudes just show up and being like, yo, what's up? Let's grab a drink. Like, chivalry is like kind of like played out.
Yeah.
So I've always said, I'm like, if I were back out there, oh God, Cal, you wouldn't last 20 minutes.
What? Cal would be dating you?
No. But it's just like, I just feel like sometimes like the younger guys, it's not seen anymore, right? Like Derek, like you and I know this, like R&B music was like what you watched and listened to when you were like, yo, I'm about to go out. I need to get right.
Yeah.
Now you out here, y'all. Look at him bouncing his head. He over there know the song I'm singing too. But that's what it'd be just how to I guess be more attractive to women. Yeah.
I like that. How to be more attractive. It's a good way of putting it.
Mm-hmm.
You think a bunch of guys need that then, eh?
A bunch of guys need that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A bunch of guys need that.
Cal, what would be your TED Talk?
Like my real TED Talk, or my what am I best at and could just fucking bullshit on?
Just give the answer. I don't know.
I could give a hour TED Talk with no preparation on how to be a master procrastinator for sure. Like,
ooh, that's good. I like that.
I mean, yeah,
How to procrastinate.
Yeah. How to
want to know how to not do something? Shit.
Yeah. That'd probably be mine.
That's good, man. I'm really good at that shit too. So I like with all these ones that I was trying to pick out, I was like coming up with different answers. So I'm like, is it like the art of getting out of plans as an adult, or like, me, I like how to pick like fruit, how to pick produce or whatever. But the one that I settled on is why, when you have kids, why messing with your kids is actually the best thing for making them the most like well-adjusted human beings, and like kind of opening up their imaginations. And like, it's funny because I'm sarcastic just in general. And a lot of my friends would always say like, oh man, you're going to fuck with your kids so much. And I'd be like, no, I'm not going to do that to my kids, but I do. I just fuck with them all the time. And like, this morning, like my kids, whenever they ask me what time is it, I can't help but just be like, it's game time. Huh. And they'll be like, stop. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or like I have my youngest kid is all of a sudden has this irrational fear of just being robbed. So like sometimes I'll walk, like my oldest son has to get to school early. So my youngest son's like, can I stay home? He'll be on the iPad with me. And I have this whole storyline around a guy named Robert, the robber. So I'm like, all right, you just stay home. And then I'll be on the FaceTime. I'm like, I'm going to go run out. Like Robert's going to come by. He's probably going to take a couple things from your room, but like, don't worry. And he's like, Dad, stop. So I'm just fucking with them all the time. Yeah. I'm just messing with them all the time. But I will say this, I really do notice something about when you do that. And like, it's kind of like they start to understand, humor and like not taking everything so seriously. And it adds like this, like, layer of intelligence to them. And I think it's something that teaches them humility and how to be self-deprecating. I think it's all just like good stuff. And so I think it's like a fun kind of playful way to interact with your kids is just to fuck with them, from time to time, mess with them.
Yeah, I agree.
You get that with no kids.
Yeah.
That was my whole life, fucker.
Who's up? Next question.
Me. All right. It's I think this is a good one. Are influencers on the same level as celebrities?
I would argue that are celebrities not also influencers, and vice versa.
Well, no. The way I'm putting it is, let's take like Jake Paul and his brother, right? Sure. They're considered influencers, right? Now, are they bigger than celebrities? So celebrities, we're talking Tom Cruise, we're talking like people like that. Do we think that they're on the same level as them?
But I agree with Cal. At this point, I think the influencers are celebrities. Because if you're talking about Jake Paul, you're talking about Logan Paul, like to the generations, below us, those are the most famous celebrities. I
would argue they're bigger. So like right? If you
Kai Cenat and Speed, those guys are the number one celebrities to those generations. So at this point, they've kind of converged. And but there's always been like what's her name? Paris Hilton. You could say like she was one of the first kind of like influencers in a way, or like I just think they're all similar at this point. It's not, you have Hollywood celebrities, right? And then you're talking about like what, social influencers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think social influencers are bigger than a bunch of Hollywood celebrities for sure. Maybe not like the peak, but yeah, I mean, bro, Logan Paul would be bigger than most traditional celebrities, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you all, because what these guys and girls have done is that they've made themselves so accessible that traditional celebrities, you have no access to them. Like you only saw them in a movie, you only saw them on TV. Now these people, they got OnlyFans, they got Twitch, they got YouTube, they got they got Instagram, TikTok. You can have full blown access to them 24 hours a day if you wanted to, and that's how you feel like you have this connection with them. So I totally think that the influencers now are bigger than the celebrities of what traditional celebrities are supposed to be.
But
definitely crossed over.
I would also say though that what a traditional celebrity is has changed and is now likely, an influencer. Like, because I mean, to me, if you look, obviously I know you're talking about social influencer, but like an influencer is anyone who people care about what they say about certain topics. So like, Kanye, for example, because I don't want to go on a road trip with him, has influence. Like he's obviously an artist, but he's an influencer. Like if Kanye says some shit, people gonna do some shit. Same thing like Logan Paul. If Logan Paul gives his opinion on something, his fans will react based on that. So anyone who is a celebrity has influence, but the traditional influencers from social are bigger than majority of celebrities. Like the top ones are bigger than the celebrities.
That term influencer has kind of like evolved and kind of changed, and it's lost its meaning in a lot of ways. I was watching a documentary the other day of Martha Stewart, and they were talking about how she was like the OG influencer because, right? Like if you think of what traditional influencers are on social, it's like, come get ready with me, or it's like they're doing like the fashion stuff or their interior, whatever. Like, I'm talking about like the female side of things. Like she was an influencer before social was even a thing. So I don't know. I guess to me, it's always changing, but yeah, celebrities are now, or influencers are now kind of like the celebrities.
Yeah.
Okay. My last one. If you could relive 1 year of your life, which one would it be and why?
I would do my senior year of high school.
Okay.
For sure. I basically had a track scholarship to Baylor, and I couldn't go because I had a heart murmur. So my last year, track was in spring. I did soccer in the winter, in the fall. Played basketball in the winter, and then right around like January, February, my school decided to do a physical out of nowhere. And the nurse like listened to my heart and was like, "Yeah, you can't play." And I'm like, "Fuck you mean I can't play?" I was Booby. What was his name? Booby Miles. What was the dude from Friday Night Lights?
I think it was Booby Miles.
And like when he's like getting pissed off and he's like throwing everything around in the doctor's offices, like that was me. But if I could redo it all over again, I would have put more focus into obviously figuring out if I wanted to go to school at all. That would have been the thing. But it was a different time then.
Yeah. I would say senior year of high school is my runner up because I had a similar thing with sports where I was on the high school basketball team. We had a great team, but we like didn't make the playoffs and we lost like 4 or 5 games by 1 point. And I loved like just playing high school basketball. But I would say the year that I'd want to relive is when I went abroad in college. That's where I met my wife and fell in love. And just that I was in Australia for 6 months with my friends living on the beach. It was like undoubtedly the best year of my life.
It was flirtatious.
Fuck you guys. I don't like the two of you together. I'm gonna have to break this down.
I feel like the senior year of high school is definitely a runner up. I feel like that's a solid runner up for a lot of people. For me, I mean, obviously I'm younger than you guys, so it was more recent. But like a couple of years ago, I think, and maybe I was 22, 21, but it was the year that I realized. I mean, it was the year I met my girlfriend now as well. I feel like that got to answer that because she listens to these. But no, on a real tip, it was I went traveling with my boys all summer, and it was the year I realized, I can go do this, have all this fun, but I'm actually gonna make shit happen and fucking like, the whole law of attraction thing and all the things we've been talking about more recently, Derek. I think that was the point though in my life where I was like, we're always trying to figure it out, but that year I was like, okay, like as much as I still will always be trying to figure it out, I know that with my talent and who I am, I'll make some shit happen. Whether it's, today, tomorrow, or 5 years from now, it'll happen. And so just that whole year I had that mindset and have been since then. So that's my answer.
Nice. I thought when you were saying the year that I realized, I thought you were going to say the year that I realized I was gay. That's where I thought you were going with that.
Bro, I'm not going to men though. Like, if any, I mean,
yeah.
All right, moving on. Next question.
Wow.
And this could be the longest podcast of all time. All right, so my last question is this. Okay, it's a fun one. What's the dumbest hill that you're willing to die on?
ChatGPT gave me that one too, I will say. So I said,
did it?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Like, what does that even mean? Dumbest hill? What do you mean?
It's kind of like, how would you explain that?
Like something controversial that is stupid, but that Mike, like if you told me like, I don't know, if you told me that apples are the fucking greatest fruit and like you won't listen to a conversation about it, like you'll die on that hill. Like
I have a friend. Yeah, right. I have a friend who the hill that she is willing to die on is that Helen Keller was the biggest scam. That like there's no way that Helen Keller like actually could, like that she wasn't deaf. There's no way she could have been deaf and then like been able to do everything. It's random. Cal, while Mike thinks about it, do you have anything that comes to mind?
The dumbest hill I'm willing to die on. Like, cause dumbest just.
It doesn't have to be dumb. It could just be what is the hill that you're willing to die on?
That's a tough one to answer. Mike, you go.
Twizzlers is the best candy.
There's no way. But
I mean, okay, sure.
It's ridiculously.
Yeah. Ridiculous is right. Cal, you have anything?
Dumbest hill to die on. Fuck you. This is a really like stumped one.
Yeah. You want me to go so you could think about it some more?
Sure. Yeah.
Man, I had so many. This isn't really like I guess. It's not really a dumb hill. I just think that if you're going to a club and you're going to a party, I just think that the biggest determining factor of whether it's a good club or a party is the music being played. And then the sub kind of like hill is that an Eminem song should never, under any circumstances, be played at any party or any club. Eminem music, like you can't dance to Eminem music. Like when that song,
like, chicks come around the outside.
Yeah, when that song comes on, like just I'm out. Like the party's over. Like it could have been a great party, and if that song comes on, the party it was a terrible party. I fucking hate. Or I'm Slim Shady. Is that the same song?
Yeah.
Can't stand that song. All right.
You mean you don't want to be in a crowd of people being like, what's the song from 8 Mile?
That song too. Oh, that's the worst song. Or here, I'll give you one more. The commercials for horror movies, they should be outlawed. Like they should not be allowed to be played on television.
I agree with that.
I don't want to be like, I'm not going to the horror movie and I'm like alone in my house watching some scary commercial and it just like freaks me out. Like, why? It's rated R. Like, people don't want to watch that scary commercial.
Yeah, my dumbest hill to die on would be either anyone who claps when the plane lands or like is like up within a second of the plane and like ripping in the aisle and fucking should be like executed on site. Like fucking Yeah. Like we'll die on that hill. Yeah, ridiculous.
One last one for you. All the incels, you know what an incel is? It's like all like the angry like males that like want to, do like terrorist type things or whatever. I think that there should be a budget that goes towards getting those people laid. you know, like legalized prostitution for all the angry 18 to 25-year-olds that end up committing acts of like
you
terror.
think they commit acts of terror because they can't get laid? Like that's
yes. I really
look, check it out. Between my TED Talk and your flirting, we got a business right there.
I don't think there would be terrorism. I think if like in those countries where there are like real terrorists, just airdrop, you know, a bunch of women like prostitutes just to like calm them down and let them get laid, and they won't be as angry.
That's a crazy one.
It's just out there.
Sometimes that's what it all boils down to. All right. Is that it? Are we a wrap?
I think Mike has one more.
Oh, no? Mike has one. Mike, you go. Last one.
My last one is, all right. If you could attend one concert from any era, what would it be and why?
Concert?
Yeah.
Easy. Woodstock. Because it was just.
Don't you say lit. Don't you say lit.
It was lit. It was lit. And you know what? I actually had that as one of my questions that I didn't use was like, if you could go back to any moment in time and experience it. And that was my answer too, is Woodstock. I mean, I just think like it was probably amazing to be there. And like everybody was just on drugs and lots of love and all good vibes. And like Jimmy playing the guitar in the morning and like, you know, just like all the most classic musical acts of all time. My mom went to Woodstock and she just says it was like, it was legit. So that's my answer.
My answer, again, young, but it would have to be, bro, it's from an iconic perspective and hearing everything about him. I got to go Michael Jackson, bro. Fucking Michael Jackson for me.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be fainting. You'd be one of those like,
yeah.
Carry you to the front.
Be fanboying for sure.
Yeah. Mine was Michael Jackson, but I'll get another one. I would say I could go to a concert. Yeah, it's gonna be Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
but
just
gotta be.
You don't change your answer.
But Michael Jackson in Europe, like he had a Glasgow concert. I think that was like the biggest one he had ever did. That's the one. That's the most iconic one where he's with that white shirt. That shit.
Yeah,
I would have want to been at that one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was THREE-PEAT.
Give it up for THREE-PEAT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's segue into the put-ons. We're going to start with creators. Derek, why don't you kick us off?
All right. So I have two creators and I have a trend. We'll start with, and I know we're going to switch off, but my creator, my first guy, it's an at grill guy _ his name is Kevin Spies. He's fucking so funny. He's like, he does a bunch of comedic skits that revolve around parenting, humor, impressions, and humorous takes on everyday life. I'll send you guys like one of his things just so you know who I'm talking about. But those guys that are just like so naturally funny that like they can just do it by how they look, like, and their mannerisms before they even do anything. Like they're funny, like Will Ferrell style, that type of thing. That's what this guy is. And he's like, he does all of these different, I guess like impersonation. So like some of my favorites are of his are like, he has one that's grown men at hibachi, right? And it's just like the guy getting all excited, like being at the hibachi, or sales meeting speakers trying to be casual. The guy who obsesses over your lunch. He has one called Every Single White Girl in the Dance Studio Ever. That one I'm going to send you guys right now so you can see what I'm talking about. And he's just fucking hilarious. And he had one the other day where he was like, what was it? It was he did a word for word reenactment of some like nonsensical thing his 3-year-old said at breakfast. So I wrote it down. So it was like, he goes, so Dad, if you go to the jungle, if you go in the jungle, say you're in the jungle and you bring your bed, say you bring your bed to the jungle, and if you bring your bed to the jungle, you'll sleep in the grass. It's just like, that's like what a little kid talks like, they just have fucking just like,
dumping it on top of each other.
Right. Just like, well, okay, like, sure. And so he said it in this like very serious like voice. He's just hilarious. And every single video of his cracks me up. So check him out. Grail guy, Kevin Spies.
Yeah, he's fun. I've seen a couple pieces of his content before. He's fucking hilarious.
Very funny.
Mike, who you got?
So I'm gonna do this. It's called Brooklyn Coffee Shop, and what they did was they advertised this coffee shop, and it makes me wonder if it's even a real coffee shop. So what it is they created something called like real, like short films, but through reels. So there's 2 main characters, there's 2 main baristas, and the 2 main baristas are always behind, but they always have different characters come in needing something different, right? And the characters that come in, they always ask for like a regular coffee, and they're like, we don't support such capitalistic things. They're like all kind of like shit like that. And I just think it's very smart in how they branded themselves to do this. I think they did like 26 million views just having like 26 posts up, and that's it. Yeah. And I just think it's a great idea for like changing how you brand yourself, and never actually showing a single cup of coffee in the whole entire thing.
Bro, what's crazy is you spoke about that account a couple of days ago, and I was going through my saved posts earlier today, and I have this post from a marketing guy, and he's like, why your brand needs to launch a social show, and I click on it, and it's the Brooklyn Coffee House, and I'm like, oh shit, he's like giving this example and he's going through how many views they got. Yeah, it's like 26 million or something. So yeah, the style of content is super interesting. Especially
is it possible? Is it possible that it's not like a real coffee shop and it's just meant as like a content? Like, because I started watching a bunch of them too, and it's really unique and interesting. But it's like there is nothing about the coffee shop outside of just those videos. So like, is it like an improv? Like, I
don't know,
group that like their day job is working in the coffee shop, or
I don't know. And that's the thing that intrigues me the most, is like, you wonder, like, is it real? Because they shoot in the same exact place every single time. Nothing ever changes except for the characters that come in. So it's a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's sick.
Very cool.
My creator, have you guys heard of Simon Squibb?
Yeah, that sounds yeah, I know who that is.
So he's like, he does different content now, but he was the guy who he would go like on the streets and just hold a mic and like random people.
Oh, like guy on the street shit. Yeah.
Ask you what your dream is.
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
like, do you have a dream? Yeah. And some people will just like be like, no, and like keep it moving, and then might turn back. But most people, will be like, yeah, I want to open a barber shop or a coffee shop or whatever it is. And he's always like, okay, like, how are you going to do that? They say how they're going to do it. He then either supports them financially or says like, yo, he obviously has a platform now. I think he has a few mil on IG and more across all platforms. But he's like, okay, this is going to go out to, millions of people. So we'll, it's free branding. But like, he started to do stuff with like, he did a long form with Patrick Bet-David, which was super interesting. I just think like, to me, I love his style of content because obviously he's giving back, but it's like one of those things where he just as a dude is super relatable. And when he talks to like Patrick Bet-David or, he's spoken to a bunch of different crazy entrepreneurs and founders, and he just breaks it down to the low. He's like, okay, what did you do to get where you are today? And then anytime like something is, they'll say something that maybe a audience won't understand, he'll be like, no, okay, what does that mean? And so it's just very, the way he does his shit is very like relatable and insightful. But yeah, he's the I Have a Dream guy. And Simon Squibb, good concept.
What I thought he was cool was when he did the interview with the School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
He interviewed the guy that does the same exact thing as him.
Yeah. I saw that one recently. Yeah.
Man on the Street videos go crazy. But I think people think that it's so easy to do. But I mean, some of it you could tell is scripted. Like you ain't just finding like random people and like real people and being like, hey, and they just let you walk up. But I think Man on the Street videos like always like pop because you just become super interested right out the gate.
100%.
Yeah. I'm such a sucker for those types of for that style of content when it's like the random acts of kindness, like the generosity things, like whether it be somebody's going up to the homeless person and giving them money, or just like the person that's at the college and that's surprising people with laptops, or like I could watch those just, I could watch endless amounts of that type of content. My next creator is, so it's a handle that I stumbled upon like a week or two ago called at Self-Care for Dudes. Okay. And basically it brands itself as a safe place for men that offers encouragement, and it's focused on self-care and well-being. So at first, like when I saw this clip, it was hard for me to tell if it was like a joke, like if it was a parody account, because the guy who's in front of the camera is like this really friendly looking dude who's like super earnest and kind of like an SNL character. But he's for real. And the things he says are pretty encouraging. And there's a lot of perspective that's given, and it's surprisingly soothing in a way too. A lot of times the guy's like out in nature. He's like walking, or he's by like a river. So like, and then he'll say something like, just like, it's your time, dude. Like, you've made it through the struggle and the heartache, and now life's about to get fun. So enjoy it. Like, it's your time. Like, it's those types of messages. You're going to make it, dude. And so he touches it on themes of patience, finding peace, being resilient, trusting the process, a lot of stuff about pausing, kind of taking time for yourself and your mental health. It's funny because it's the type of content where when I watched it, like it connected with me at like a moment in time when I felt like I needed it. And it was meant to find me. But I feel like there are so many people that probably see a clip like this type of content, and it just hits them kind of the same way, because whatever it is that you're going through, you can kind of apply it to any sort of circumstance. So I just like the angle to it, that it's for dudes, because a lot of times, and Mike knows this, like it's hard for dudes to open up. It's hard for dudes to kind of take, encouragement, and kind of, everything is very internalized with a lot of dudes. And this is stuff that's healing in a lot of ways. And just, I got to give a shout out to that handle, Self-Care for Dudes.
No, I love that. I have seen this account before, because I'm looking at it right now, and yeah, I think to your point, depending on the time that it hits you, like it resonates more certain times than others. So yeah, that's a good one. Mike, do you have another creator?
Yeah, it's this guy down in Tampa, Florida. His name is Myron Golden, and let's just say he's like a business coach, public speaker. He helps other businesses scale their business. And two things like stuck out to me about him. One is obviously the visuals of how he shoots his content, but it was two things that I heard him say before. He had said once that the way that I gain a new client is the same way that I don't get a client. And I was like, huh? And he goes, in my intro to someone about what it is I do, it allows you to be qualified and disqualified at the same time. So what he says is, I help businesses that make $15 million a year scale to $20 to $45 million a year only. So what he's saying is like, if you don't make 15 million a year, you're not going to talk to me. But it also allows the person that does make that to feel open enough to talk to me about that. And that really stuck out to me with what I do with content, because I always say, like, if you have 15,000 followers and under, I can help you grow and scale. But if you have above that, you probably wouldn't need my help, because my focus is a little bit more micro. The other thing that he said that I watched the other day was, never assign a level of difficulty to something that you plan to do before you take the first step. And it kind of just made me stop in the middle of the live stream, because a lot of times we automatically say how hard or how difficult something is before we've even tried anything to go about doing it, right? And I see this all the time, like with my stepson. I'll be like, yo, did you go try it? No, it definitely won't work. Like yesterday, he broke his phone. I got him a new phone. And I'm like, can you connect the phone? No, the phone is cooked. Like it's a brand new phone. It doesn't work. Give me the phone. Literally, I connected the phone. And he's like, you made it work? I'm like, you never even started the process in making the phone work. And I think we do that as people now so much that we see this, we see all the struggles before we even try anything, to even realize that maybe all those struggles that we see actually are not even going to happen. So
it's like a fear. It's like a natural fear that everybody has. It's just they anticipate all the reasons why something's not going to be able to go right, and it prevents them from doing something. What's what's the handle again?
His name is Myron Golden, Myron Golden.
Mike, you said he helps businesses scale from 15 to 30, 40, whatever. So is he like putting out conversations that he's having with clients? Is he more so talking about through his like process?
So what he does is he records all his live streams and puts them up on YouTube. And like some of the videos that I've saved is like how to go from 0 to 1 million. And he breaks it down like how you do it. And it made me really think like, yo, every person that I know that is a millionaire of some sort did the same exact thing. And what he says is like, you have to have a product. That's it.
Yeah.
Like there's not a millionaire out there that has probably not had a product at one point that made them a million. And he breaks it down like, you sell this many a day. If you raise your pricing, that number a day that you need to sell now goes down to like you only need to sell 2 a day for 5 days a week. Like he breaks things down in a very understandable, digestive way where you can be like, yep, that makes sense. Opposed to it being like all this jargon and stuff.
By the way, that is really that's such a superpower, is being able to take like complicated things and break them down and simplify them. That's why I love Naval, right? Like all the most like complex things. And it's just like, explain it in a way that makes sense instead of just like trying to talk in some like, like all of the jargon. It just proves you really actually don't know like what you're talking about, because otherwise people would be able to understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. You have a trend?
Yeah, I got one last one. It's not a trend actually. It's a handle that I stumbled upon. I'm gonna send this one to you guys real quick. So it's called at History Films, but with AI is in the middle. Hist AIRY Films. Okay, or it's underscore in between films. And it is, it's really interesting. So it's POVs in AI, and it's like, the one that I just sent you is POV, you wake up as a coal miner in Pennsylvania in 1905, right? Or they'll have POV, you wake up as a factory worker in NYC in 1885. Or POV, you wake up as a gladiator in Rome 100 AD. And it's sick. It just takes you through. Yeah, it takes you through like an average day of like, so if you're a coal miner, right, it's like you're kind of walking to the, to the mine with all the other miners. You're pushing the coals on a trolley, like underneath the mine. You're sitting down to eat your like boiled potatoes with your coal covered hands. And it's just like, it's amazing these time periods that you've heard about, just actually being able to watch something that really kind of makes you feel like this is what it's like to be an average person back in 1905 or in the 1800s in New York City, or, all of these different places and scenarios that they have. And again, it's just one of those really, really creative ways that AI can be utilized to just like storytell. And it's fascinating. I can't get enough of things like this type of content.
You've been talking this whole time. I heard nothing you said. I've been in this page.
Like how crazy is it? Crazy, right?
It's insane.
The Athenia one is wild.
Yeah. And like that, I think that style of like POV is like more of the recent clips. Cause before that, it's just showing you like, here's whatever prehistoric times, like what it was like, in the Aztecs, and like, just different civilizations and different locations and different time periods. And it's amazing. It's really something.
Yeah, I wonder what he uses.
Yeah, I'm always so curious about that too. How do they do it? How?
Because when you use like, ChatGPT, Dolly, Midjourney, like a few of these ones, I swear that they never spin out anything that looks like this. Like,
yeah, some people have like crazy AI.
So I just clicked on one, and a guy asked him what software, and he said, message him.
Let's do it. Hit him. Let's find out.
There's got to be. I mean, there's probably so many people who are making good money from just using AI, like just clipping. AI influence. We talked about influencers, AI influencers, AI specific type of video. I mean, this is sick.
But also, when you watch something like this, where my head always goes is like, bro, 2 or 3 years from now, like, what's it going to be like? It's going to be so crazy. Like, you're literally going to be able to go back into any time and like be fully immersed in it and like have like real experiences. And you know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine. It's kind of hard to grasp.
I think like it may get to the point where people are going to use it to like reenact moments like with past loved ones.
Yeah.
And be able to like say like the last words and stuff like that. Or, in a weird way, like be able to have them with them all the time. You know what I mean?
Or like essentially this is like time travel, right? Like this is like in a couple of years from now, maybe not a couple, maybe it'll be a little bit longer. Like, how is it? It'll feel like you're traveling through time. You'll literally be able to like be in these places and be so immersed into these worlds that it's you can't even tell the difference of the fact that maybe you're wearing something over your head to like, whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what time travel is.
Yeah. That's the crazy thing though, is that, the lines between what's real and what's not is blurred, and you won't know. Yeah. I mean, I feel like even now though, anytime you watch a video on social, whether it's some sort of like news piece on Twitter X or, something on Insta or TikTok, whatever, I always have to look again to be like, okay, could this be AI? I mean, with the deep fake voices and all that, I mean, we have no clue.
Bro, you're talking to me. I'm the guy that like, I'm like, is this a UFO or is this not like, is this a real video or is it not a real? It's impossible to tell at this point what's real, what isn't. You can't.
But yeah, okay. So next is podcast. I'll go. Mine is like these guys are creators as well, but the podcast is called the NFR Podcast, not for radio. It's like a hip hop music commentary pod. Like they do deep dives on rap albums, like reviews, artist breakdowns, music discussions. They do like, top 5 drafts of all time songs. Like, if I was a DJ, well, in my 5 set. But it's just, I think these guys they both seem Canadian. Like they both seem like they're from Toronto, if I had to guess. They talk about Drake a decent amount and all the Kendrick stuff. But I don't think I've seen a podcast that is specifically tailored to like hip hop, rap, R&B, and these guys banter back and forth is super entertaining, at least from the short form perspective, like on TikTok and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty sure their ads is NFR Podcast, but listen to a few clips and check them out. They're engaging, and it's interesting, like how they speak about different artists and music.
I think I know who you're talking about. Let me just, I saw a clip of these guys the other day because they were doing something. They were doing a top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I gotta check out their pod though. I don't think I've ever watched the long form of their pod. Mike, you got a pod for us?
Yeah, it's actually my friend. It's called the Calum Johnson Podcast. He spells his name Calum, and he amazes me because he's from the UK, and he came here working like in finance or something like that, and then started podcasting. Right. Next thing you know, he's getting all of these like high level entrepreneurs on his page. I mean, on his show, and he actually was on Myron Golden's show, which was like shocking to me. But I give it up to him because he has this saying called "stay delusional." And I remember when he brought it up to me, I was like, well, why would you use that? Like, stay delusional. He says, because every great at one point was looked at as crazy and you can't do this and you can't do that. And then when they actually accomplish it, you're looked at as you're an innovator, you're a this, you're a that. So he says, so were you actually delusional? Just because no one else believed in it, but you did. And I've watched him now kind of like grow his account to crazy followings. And he's putting out shows, I think like 2 times a week or something like that. But Calum Johnson Podcast. Yeah.
Wait. Couple of things. One, weird name, Calum, dumb name. 2, bro, you're boys with Calum Johnson. I know I've listened to his stuff. Steve, our producer, loves him. That's your boy?
I know you're boys with him.
Yeah. Get him on the pod. Can we bring him on?
Man, he's a big guy now.
Probably not. I
don't know. I mean, I can ask.
That's see what he says. I've listened to his stuff. He's good.
Yeah. I swear, Derek, you definitely brought him up before.
I think I've put Cal onto one of the episodes that he did. 100%. I've mentioned him before.
Yeah, and I think like at the age that he is and at the volume that he does it at is like phenomenal.
How old is he?
It's crazy.
He's 20 something.
Damn.
Oh, he's young. Shit.
Well, I have a pod too, and it's another British guy. It's Diary of a CEO.
Bro, I was about to fucking run you. I knew Stephen Bartlett was great.
Yeah, one of my favorites, Stephen Bartlett. Mike, have you ever listened to Diary of a CEO?
Yeah, of course.
You have. Okay. So he had on a guy named Charlie Hourpert, I think is his name, the other day, and he's a charisma teacher. Okay. And he's an author and he's an entrepreneur. He's the co-founder of something called Charisma on Command, which is a personal development platform dedicated to helping people enhance their interpersonal skills and confidence. Guy has a YouTube channel with like 6 million subscribers. And basically in the episode, he's talking about how charisma can be learned and developed. He discusses the impact on personal and professional relationships, a bunch of insights on social awkwardness, how to utilize body language to build trust with people, discussing traits and behaviors that enhance likability and mastering persuasion techniques. And then he goes through different types of charismatic mindsets and analyzes different charismatic public figures like Obama and Donald Trump and the different traits that make them compelling. And then he gives a bunch of practical applications in various contexts like job interviews, networking, dating, personal relationships. Now, the one thing that kind of resonated with me, and it's kind of what I was talking about before, maybe that's the reason why I had the answer of it, was just he talks about this concept of flirting with the world. Okay. And just about how everybody's most people's interactions are very literal and robotic. And if you're able to be playful in your interactions, that people are dying for that type of engagement. You know, it just provides such a highlight, such a spark in people's days. It's memorable. It wakes them up out of their routines where they're just kind of like going through the motions, and then somebody, you know, does something or says something that like they're, you know, is funny or interesting or just like fucking with them. And I just love I love these different people that are like the masters of body language or the masters of charisma or the different things that to identify like what is a charismatic person.
Yo,
because what?
How does one become a master of charisma?
Well, I'll say this. It's always the same formula because it's always somebody who was not charismatic, right? It was somebody who was like super shy, that had zero charisma, and then realized like that they were going to try and come out of their shell. And then they had like an awakening. And then they realized, I'm going to dedicate my entire life to be like, you know, teaching people how to be charismatic and why it's so important. And you realize it is so important because like in life, it's all about relationships. And in relationships, it's all about finding connections with people and, you know, like being able to relate to them and being able to have a conversation. And so it's these things that it's like they should teach charisma. That's a skill that should be taught in school, right? Like those things that they don't teach in school that have to do with just humanistic elements, right? And like how to communicate and how to like engage social things, you know, street smart things.
But yo, that's something I go back and forth on in the sense that like, sure, you can tell someone like, yo, this is what you need to do to become more charismatic. This is what you need to do to, you know, become. But at the end of the day, I believe that a bunch of that stuff is innate. And so, you know, to be taught, you know, we could talk about charisma or, you know.
Listen, no, Cal. The truth is it is innate, but there's certain people that it's not innate. And he's saying that you can learn it. And if you listen to the pod, it makes sense. You can learn it. You can develop it. It's like any other thing. There are some people that just naturally have it, right? Like, you know how like Mike naturally has it and like you kind of like probably you don't have it, but like I have it. No, I'm joking. You got it, Cal. You have it. You have it.
But this is what I'm saying. Like the soft skills, I guess there's a massive cohort of people who need to be taught it. But I'm just wondering, how the fuck do you teach someone charisma who doesn't have an ounce of it in their body?
Yeah, good question. Listen to the podcast, and you'll learn.
But you're telling me this guy wasn't charismatic to begin with, and then he dedicated his life to charisma. So if I think I'm charismatic to begin with and dedicate my whole life to charisma and teaching people,
I think what you'll learn is like there are things that you already do. There are certain things that probably you're not aware of that you do that are helpful that you could lean into more. And then there's other things that you don't do that you'll add to your tool belt, and it helps you. It makes you more valuable in that way.
I do think the people game is a real thing. I mean, yeah, in life and business, it's all relationships. And so if you're able to come into certain situations and know what to say or what to ask or how to keep conversations going, like that kind of stuff is definitely very valuable. And, you know,
I'll give you an example. It's like, he talks about like interviews and like how important the small talk is at the beginning of an interview, right? And then they'll ask you, so tell me about yourself. I'm like, I've been doing interviews for the last like whatever year or so, right? Because I'm like looking for jobs and stuff like that. And he was talking about how like with that question, a lot of times people will just like go like chronologically, like their resume. And I've done that before. And I came out of the interview and I'm just like, fuck, like that did not go well. And then you're listening to something like this and it's like, he's talking about like, you'll see the guy's eye, you know, the person that you're interviewing, the eyes will glaze over and like, you've lost it. The interview is over and you're only like 4 minutes in because you don't know how to actually talk to people or you're not really like focusing on the things that really matter. And so you know, it's like, I personally believe that I am more charismatic than the next guy, right? Like, I'm not saying I'm the most charismatic, but I feel like that's a skill of mine. But there's still things that like you can learn and that you could develop to be more charismatic. And it's just, and like he touches on stuff with like Donald Trump. Like you might feel he's polarizing, right? But like, if you look at Donald Trump and he uses the example of the Republican, what was it? The primary, what is the convention where they all go and they're all whatever.
The DNC,
yeah. So the first one that he went to, everybody hated him. Like he wasn't popular, but each person that he like was going against, like Jeb Bush and Ted Cruz, he won over the crowd because of his charisma. Because like he just like, and he's like Teflon, like the woman was asking him like, so you've referred to women as like slob, like, you know, fat slobs and just like all this stuff. And he's just like, no, that's just Rosie O'Donnell. And everybody just went crazy.
Yeah, I remember that exact line. Yeah.
Right. It's like, he's clearly like any other politician says that, that's it. They're over. They're canceled. But something about him, people like they can't stay mad at him. You know, it's just like, it's because he's got this natural charisma. And again, I'm not a Trump supporter. I don't hate him. I'm not a supporter, but like you can't deny the fact that he's charismatic, and clearly it has huge influence, you know? And so there's a lot of value in just having charisma.
Yeah.
Good show. Flirting, charisma. My guy is on it, bro. He's
bro.
Yeah, your whole thing was about flirting and charisma.
You guys better watch out. I'm gonna flirt with both of you too. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yo, we the THREE-PEAT was a lengthy freaking session.
Yeah.
9 questions. Who would have thought it would take us an hour to go through 9 questions?
I know.
When y'all said 3 each, I was like, okay, here we go.
Well, in my mind, it was like, okay, we'll ask 9 questions. It'll end up being like 15 minutes. And it's like, it ended up being 3 times that, you know, 45 minutes. So, but good chat, guys. Good talk.
Hell yeah.
Episode 37. We're out. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk.
Later, guys.
Peace.
Thank you for tuning into the Put On Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and don't forget to follow us on social @Put On Pod.